national champion. There's been so much that's gone into getting here, twists and turns, and now it builds to this, the battle for supremacy. And these two teams have survived the expanded playoff grind. They have battled through a regular season, multiple.
Hey, what's up, guys? It is Celeb back again for another video. This time around, we're here to review College Football 25, brought to you by EA Sports. And let me tell you something, guys. Some of you may not know this if you're watching this video, but it's really weird to think this, but there's probably like gamers that are like 10 years old now don't realize there was a college football game before this. But either way, college football used to be one of the premier hits for EA Sports. And then over time, it got to the point that the NCAA and EA Sports had it out about using the likeness of these students in their games, and also it came down to these players were really putting a lot of time and effort into their livelihood of what they wanted to make, and they weren't getting paid either. They weren't getting paid from EA Sports. They weren't getting paid from the colleges and whatever. And now we've got it lined out to where these players are making the bank that they deserve for putting their bodies on the line. And I got to say, college football's always had a special place in my heart. Coming from Texas, football is one of the big focus points. Now, my senior year, we did have a tragedy that happened. And my senior football team, we were pretty good, the Grapeland Sandies, and we were 3-0, and a freak accident happened, and a singular bolt of lightning struck in our side practice field, and one of our friends, Russell Pennington, lost his life from standing on one of the sprinkler heads at the time. It's not something I really talk about a lot, but I will tell you this, football means a lot more than just – football means a lot more to some people than just, it just being a big hit game. And I don't mean to take up the review of me talking about, my high school times, but, after that tragedy, one of the games that brought us together and made us, kind of take our minds off things and, focus in on the, brotherhood of football and stuff was NCAA. So we had, I remember we had this really cool moment of having a bunch of the team over and set up all these PS2s and we're playing the game. And it was just crazy, man. We had a blast, of course, doing it, but these type of games bring people together, and it's, of course, college football as well. Always brings people together. So to get back onto the review, College Football 25 has officially been released. It's been 10 years since the last college football title has come out. And I've got to say, guys, I am highly impressed with this game. This is going to be a non-traditional review. I'm not going to sit there and talk about every aspect of this game like some people would. And talk about the, improvements and all this other stuff. I'm going to talk about it the way I talk about it. And we're going to first talk about the graphical presentation of this game. And I'm going to tell you, with this new standard, whenever it comes down to crowd noise, crowd environment, college environment, all this other stuff, it's unbelievable. When I'm talking about you get transported to these schools when you're playing, you get transported. You feel like you're in the game. You're there watching it yourself. EA Sports has done an amazing job at really improving the overall environmental aspect of this game. It's unbelievable. Playing somewhere like, FSU and just having them chanting the whole time while you're playing, music playing. The crowd noise, the environment of these home stadiums and stuff like that really affects your gameplay so crazily. But with that, with the graphical presentation, of course, as you can see, it runs so smooth. Frame rates are fantastic. Playing this game at 60 frames per second in 4K is just unbelievable. And you get a really, really stellar understanding of what they were trying to present with this game, and it's just making it the ultimate college football experience that we haven't seen in some time. So speaking of that, with Dynasty mode, I actually used my brother. He was a high school football coach for many years, so I just decided to use my brother. And I've got to say, it feels a little different. It feels different. It doesn't feel like something that you would see in a game like Madden, to where it has the franchise mode and you're able to make every little pick and aspect or whatever. But in this Dynasty mode, you are the head coach of whatever team that you selected, or you'll pick a certain a certain school, and then you have the opportunity of taking that school, as far as possible, trying to make the records better, and like they said in the promotional aspect, you can actually pick some of these schools that are, known for being kind of smaller schools, not having the best record, and take them to the top, by doing your recruiting and stuff like that. Now, I will say the one thing is, there was a really heavy focus on recruiting in this, and I understand that's the realistic aspect of college, especially now with recruiting the way that it is. These kids can just, if they don't like what the program is showcasing to them, they could just up and leave. It's definitely something different. But one thing that I did enjoy was Road to Glory. Road to Glory, you're able to create your own character. I actually used a good friend of mine, Jared Snaringer. He's a real good friend of mine, and I decided to create him in the game and have him as my quarterback, who was 6'2", 400 pounds, and somehow was running like a 4 in the 40. It's the fastest big quarterback you've ever seen in your life. But let me tell you something, nobody messes with the Snaringer. So, but this Road to Glory aspect was really cool. I thought it was, it's just like, in Madden, in this same type of mode in Madden, where you're able to focus in on one player and kind of, build them up to being, a Hall of Famer, or, in this perspective, trying to not only take your team to some of the most wins that you can, but also trying to win the Heisman, and making your character get to the point to where it's like, all right, man, he's good enough now that he can go to the NFL. So I really, really enjoyed this aspect of the game. I thought it was a lot more focused in on the player aspect, and something that kind of pulled me in a little bit more than what Dynasty mode did. Dynasty mode, it's not that it's a bad mode. It's just, man, like every time you'd play a game, you're getting a notification of like, hey, there's a student that's talking about leaving, or hey, you need to do more recruiting, you need to do this. And that's a lot to grasp. And, I have ADHD, so there's some times, like whenever I'm playing these games, I'm like, oh, man, they got a lot to do. But when you get so much to manage at one time in some of these games, it's a little bit too much. But like I said, in Road to Glory, I really enjoyed it. I did. I thought it was a fantastic mode. I thought it was really cool how you could create your character. Now, one mode that I did not focus in on was Ultimate Team. Just being 100% honest, even on Madden, whenever EA Sports has this available on Madden, like Ultimate Team mode and stuff, I'm not into Ultimate Team mode. It's not something that I even really focus in on, or I've ever really put a lot of time and effort into, of building your ultimate team and doing, like, in this perspective of doing the auction and the quick sale of these cards that you get and what you can use. It's just, for me, it's not for me. Let's say that. This is not a mode that I can say that I really enjoyed playing at all. But that is no shade towards EA Sports. Even in other games that are out there, like certain 2K games, and these, ultimate team building modes where it's like, you could do this and you can upgrade your characters and use these cards and whatever. It's just not something that I like to play. So I'm not going to say really much about that outside of what I've already said. Now, I will say, too, Road to the College Football Playoffs is a pretty cool mode. It gives you the opportunity, of course, playing against others on the way to the college playoffs. But this this is a problem that I'm having that I continuously keep running into. I'm not the best at this game. I'm not. But, man, the amount of people that have just dropped on games on a constant basis, it makes this mode completely almost unplayable sometimes. It's very irritating, and it's kind of took me out of really focusing in on the online aspect of this game. I know that people can rage quit sometimes, but I've never seen it like I have in college football. Anytime I had a fantastic play that would happen, somebody would drop or something would happen, connection lost, or they would end up dropping out of the game because I intercepted the ball and ran it back. You know, it's nuts to me, man. It's nuts, and it really kind of takes you out of it because, you know, that stuff does mean something. So, you know, of course you're going to get a dub if somebody ends up dropping out completely on the game, but it does get irritating, and there was times that I'm trying to play the game and I lost my connection. I have like a really good connection of, 500 meg download speeds, and there was 2 times that I lost connections in my game, and I ended up getting a loss for it. So the college football championship thing, the biggest kind of takeaway I've got to say from it is I wish there was a mode in the game that wasn't through Dynasty and it wasn't through, the college football, playoffs or whatever, the championship road to the playoffs. I wish there was a mode to where you could literally just pick a team and then go season to season without any of the rigmarole, without any of the other stuff that is added to it. Just a simple exhibition mode or something like that. I think that's one thing that is missing from this game. And lastly, something that I feel that is really missing from this game as well is the classic create your team mode. I think that this version of college football is really, really great. It's something that is just unbelievable that it's finally back. And I think a lot of people, of course, are very excited about it. I mean, there was, 2.2 million people, I think, that, paid an extra $100 right off the bat to be able to play this game early. But there was something special back in the day of being able to just, build your team in game, and you had the opportunity of not just building your team, but you could build your stadiums and all this other stuff in Maddens and in NCAA's prior to the current football games. You actually had the opportunity of being able to just build your stadiums, build your team up, and just play. And I think that's something that this is missing. Now, that does not mean that this is a horrible game. It's a very, very fun game. I've already spent hours upon hours playing against friends here in town, them coming over and us challenging each other on college football. And it is a really amazing game. But I think something that is taken away from it is for those players that have been playing college football as long as I have. I've been playing NCAA football since it came out originally. The creation or the create your team aspect of the game was such a pillar. It was like, that was the thing, bro. Like, I remember back in high school, we used to create our hometown, like the Grapeland Sandies, and then we would create Elkhart Elks and Palestine Wildcats and all the teams in the surrounding areas, and like play them against each other. And that's something that I feel is really missing from this game. But outside of that, I will say this, guys, College Football 25 is a fantastic game. One of the best things, of course, about it is the smooth gameplay, the additional, like juke moves, spin moves. I mean, I've never seen juking and spinning like this before in my life. The hit stick is just wild. I mean, it's really, really crazy. Some of the blocking is a little off. It feels a little unbalanced at times. There's times that like you'll be doing an inside run and the opposing team is doing an inside run and they're like you're trying to tackle the running back and literally your defensive line and offensive line are just standing there. The running back's standing there. He's kind of floating left or right. So there's a few little works that need to be tweaked out, but once those get fixed, this is going to be pretty much a perfect game. I could say that one of the standouts of college football 25 is, of course, the utter improvement of environmental, gameplay. The fact that you actually feel like you're in these stadiums, it really affects your gameplay in a positive way and a negative way, depending on what side of the ball you're on. But it's really, really honestly a crazy game. And it's almost surreal to see it come back true to its form. So I could say, college football 25 is a great experience. And for gamers old or young, I feel like this is going to be a game that is going to put a lot of angst and anger in your family if you are competitive like my family is. So I definitely think you guys should check this game out. And I am giving this game a 4.5 out of 5. Please make sure to check back soon for more reviews, more news, podcasts, and much more. Big shout out to EA for giving us the opportunity to check in this game out. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for always sticking around. I'll talk to you soon. Peace out.